Hey, we back. I'm here on Discord and we've got some new stuff to talk about. There's been a bit of a Discord update, which is pretty cool. It's not too major, but they've added a couple new features that are actually not bad. So, good job to Discord. It's been a while since they added not bad features. Not to worry, they've added bad ones as well. We'll get to them in a bit. But anyway, what we've got first is silent messages. Now, this was added, as far as I know, a couple of days ago. It was just announced on the changelog. At least I got the changelog notes today. Silent messages were added a little bit ago. And these are just messages that don't make a noise for pings. So, of course, if it doesn't ping anyway, then it doesn't do anything. But if you are getting pinged by a silent message, then the noise won't show up. So you do these silent messages by typing silent at the start of your message, like that, like a ping, except it doesn't ping anyone, unless it does. You've got to be careful, because if there's someone in your server called silent, you might end up pinging them. So Discord definitely needs to do something about that. But anyway, here we go. We type silent, and then we type whatever our message is, and we send it, right? You see the silent at the start has disappeared, and we've got a little bell icon here with a Z next to it. This is an @silent message, which has a small grammatical mistake because it says a @silent message, and it definitely should say an @silent message. But whatever. And there you go, it has sense. In theory, you could make all of your messages silent and have a little bell icon next to every single one of them, if you fancy typing @silent at the start of every message. Now, just to show you guys how it works I'm going to flip over to a different channel here, and then I'm going to get Dust here to ping. So this is just to confirm that I have the ping sounds on. You are going to hear the ping. There you go. The ping noise happened. It's got the little one, the ping noise happened. If I click on the channel, there is the ping. Now, if I do the same thing again, but with @silent at the start, then we'll get the same deal, but without the ping noise, right? Do you see that? We still have the one. We still have the one here and here, but there is now no ping noise. And if I flip over the channel, it's still highlighted in yellow, and we've got the little bell icon next to it. We've got the silent message. And like I say, in order to do that, you just put @silent at the start of the message. It doesn't work if you put it in the middle of the message. It has to be at the start. This also works in DMs. So if you just put silent in the DM, then you see we've got the DM pop up over here, but there was no sound. This also works on reply pings. So if I send now Garuda's messaging me. If I send the message and then it gets replied to with pings enabled, but it was silent, that will also stop the noise. So there we go, there was no noise on that ping, and then if I click on it, we're going to see it's a reply and it's a silent message. So there you go, that's everything that I could possibly show about them. I don't think they're particularly helpful, because at the end of the day, if the only reason that you would want to use this feature, I think, is if the person that you're messaging doesn't like the noises. And if they don't like the noises, they would turn Do Not Disturb on. So I personally don't really see any use for this feature. It's just like a Do Not Disturb on sender's end instead, which is a little weird. But sure, it's not a bad feature, is it? Right? It's just something extra, and adding extra things is always good. It doesn't change anything that already existed. It is completely optional to use, and adding optional features is always, in my opinion, a benefit. So there you go, silent messages. The next thing that we've got is super reactions. So I'm going to switch over to a different server here. We've got the Minhera-chan hub, who has already got super reactions. As you can tell, this feature is rolling out to servers as we speak. It's not everywhere yet. I haven't got it in my servers yet, but it is here in the Minhera-chan hub already, so we can show it off. And as you can see, we've got the extra reaction button. We've got add reaction and add super reaction. Now, if I press this one, it just opens up the emote menu like normal. If I press this one, it again opens up the emote menu, but we've got a little glowy border around the outside, which is fun. And we have this message 5 left. What it's saying is you can only use 5 super reactions. Now, this depends on the type of account you have. You actually need Nitro in order to send these. This is a Nitro feature. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though, because it's also a bit of a useless feature. But again, it's an optional feature, so there's nothing bad about having it. And yes, I have got 5 super reactions. I will get 2 more, actually in a couple of days. I believe you get them every month. So from now on, if you have Nitro, or you have Nitro Basic, or if you have, like me, still got Nitro Classic, you will get some super reactions. Now, the values that you will get, if you have proper Nitro, you get 5 Nitro super reactions every month, and if you have Classic or Basic, you get 2 every month. So there you go. I'm going to be getting 2 every month, and I have started with 5. So there you go. When you use one of these, though, I'll use one as a demonstration. One of my precious 5, it's gonna be reacted there, and it's gonna show the little animation, which is pretty cool. It's got a yellow border instead of like a regular one, which is also cool. And there you go. It's there. It's being a super reaction. If I press the button now, we're down to 4 left. So I won't use up any of my other ones. Just testing. I assume there is different animations other than this one, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure. As you can see, this is the first one I've tried. But yeah, super reactions. Again, it's an optional feature. It's a good bit of fun. It is the kind of feature that I do think is useless, in the sense that, like, regular reactions are fine in terms of communicating. So having it be Nitro only, I think, is pretty fair. There's no reason to give this feature to everyone. But equally, you know, it's another thing on the list for Nitro features. I feel like there's enough of them already. But like, hey, that's an opinion. So feel like you can do with that what you will. There you go. Super reactions. They now exist. They are rolling out to all servers eventually, I suppose. The last thing that we've got here is Discord embeds for images have been changed. When you're uploading multiple images, instead of stacking them all on top of each other, it will now put them in a grid-like thing. So in order to demonstrate this, I'm going to be leaking some of my DMs because they're actually just an excellent example. So if I swap over to here, we have here some print screens of messages. Now, as you can imagine, these messages are much longer than they are tall. And so what it's done, stacking them up side by side like this, is it means it's had to cut off half the messages. You see this one's by me. It says almost my name here, and then a bit of the message. Now, if I click on it, we can see the whole thing. But we can't see most of it. We have to click on each one individually in order to actually see what the message says, which I'm not a fan of, because actually, in this case, with messages of this kind of shape, if it had just stacked them up on top of each other like it used to do, it would have actually taken up the same amount of space, and you'd be able to see the messages. Whereas what it's done instead is it's enlarged this a super amount so it looks all pixelated, and then cut off half of the image so you can't actually see what it's saying. I think this is really dumb, and unlike the other 2 features that we've talked about today, this is not optional. This is just how the image embeds work now. I am not happy about it. I think it was fine the way it was. You could see all of the image that you were looking at, and if you wanted it in a higher resolution, zoomed in a bit, you could click on it. Whereas this way, you are forced to click on it if you want to see half the image. Now, I'm sure if you have images that happen to be square-shaped, like all of these, it'll work great, and you'll be able to see them just the same. But if you're not happening to send square images, I really think this is a bit useless, and I'm not very happy about it. So, yeah, that's the thing. They have also changed, this is not something they announced, but they have also changed the way that they do regular Discord embeds, which I've noticed via my Karuta drops. So we'll do a drop just to emphasize this. I got a pretty good drop. Alright, well, nice. Let's go with that, I guess. But these images are actually a little larger than they used to be, especially saying that when you have only 3 drops. I guess I'll go and find someone doing only 3 cards instead of 4. Here we go. So someone doing only 3 cards. This image is a little larger than it used to be, which is kind of nice, because you used to have to look quite closely to see what the 3 cards were when you were doing your Karuta drops. No, this is obviously not something explicitly with Karuta. This is more something that's happening just in Discord. Images are being embedded slightly larger, which is fun. I'm down with that for sure. It's just that, you know, they're being embedded slightly larger and then being grouped together if there's more than one of them, which I'm significantly less down with. And I really think that needs to be put back. Potentially what Discord could do is make it so that if the images were close to square shapes, then it does their fancy grouped embedding. And if they're, well, obviously not, like in this case, just embed them on top of each other. Because like I say, it would take up the same amount of space on the screen, but you'd be able to see them all and it wouldn't be pixelated. This right here is just awful. I do hate it. And as my guy Showerhead there says, why are they doing it like the way Twitter does it? The last thing you want to do right now is emulate Twitter, which is entirely true. So there you go. Not a fan of that update. The image embedding is not to my liking at all. The individual embeddings being a little bit bigger is fine, but the grouped embedding is awful. So that's the 3 features that I wanted to talk about today in the update. There might be a couple more. Feel free to let me know in the comments if there's something I missed. I did have a look at the change logs. Like I said, the super reactions weren't in there. There was something else in there that was very minor I couldn't be bothered to talk about. There might be some other features coming out soon, so we can look forward to that. Just in general, we got some good stuff going on. But I've talked about what I wanted to talk about today, so I'm going to be ending this video here. Bye!